Welcome back to the second episode of my Varrock chunk episode whatever 2. Today we're still thieving. As a reminder, we need to get our thieving level up to level 40 so that we can thieve from the guards over here. Unfortunately, the quickest way to do that is thieving tea for 16 experience each time. Tea is, however, our best method for healing and also gives a +2 attack bonus. I wonder how many cups of tea we'll have by the end of this grind. As I say, we're going to need level 40 thieving to get another chunk, and I'll show you the chunk map in just a second. Alright, so this is our chunk map right now. As you can see, we've already completed the Varrock Center chunk, and we now just have this one, the Varrock East Gate. Now, once I've pickpocketed a guard, I get to pick from another 2 chunks that'll be rolled for me randomly. I don't really have any particular ones at the moment that I'm going after. I probably should remove the dig site because it won't actually be reachable, and I'll put that back on later once I can, because I can't get through to that area without the exam center or the lumberyard chunks. First level of the day, level 31. I won't go through every single level as I get them, but we'll skip to 35 and 40 and see if anything happens between now and then. One more cup of tea, and there's level 35. Only 5 levels to go. I have next to no money, so I'm going back for a little while to thieving men. It's only 3 coins per successful pickpocket, but, well, I have like 30 coins in the bank or something right now. I currently also have over 1,000 cups of tea, so they'll come in handy. Hopefully I'll have better food eventually, but for now this isn't too bad, and I can use it to help myself while pickpocketing. Got level 38 thieving, which gives me Master Farmers. I think there's one to the south of here at some point. So once I can start getting seeds, that'll be a farming potential grind in future. I need obviously this access to the seeds, and I need access to the farming plots. In just a second, one more, there we go, level 40 thieving, and a decent amount of money given what I started with. That's our goal for thieving, but we still need a thiever guard, so let's go do that. These cups of tea really came in handy too. One successful pickpocket is all we need. There we go. 46 thieving per and 30 coins. And that's our final chunk task. Let's go back to the chunk picker. There we go, tick that off. 40 thieving, pickpocket a guard, and those are all my tasks complete. As you can see, I have 5 potential chunks that I could go into. Let's not waste any time. Let's roll those 2. See what we get. What are our options going to be? Okay. Number 4 and number 3. Let's have a quick look. So we've got number 4 here, which let's have a look at the possible tasks. There's a little bit of Romeo and Juliet, a little bit of Gertrude's cat, and the potential to kill an imp. Those are some new things. There is the cook's guild here, but because I don't have anything I can actually physically cook, I can't get the level to get in there, so it's not giving me that as a task just yet. There is also the chunk down here, number 5. Let's have a look at the tasks there. Okay, so there is access to cooked meat, because there's a giant rat there. Let's have a look. There's also the mine here. There's going to be some mining tasks. They don't seem to be showing up. I'm not sure why. Let's have a look at the features section. Okay, so we got copper rocks, we've got tin, we've got iron. So we're going to have to at least do that. I think that'll be all right. Yeah, getting a start on some mining might not be too bad. I don't have anything I can do with the ore just yet, but getting a start would be alright. And moving down this way is not so bad. So I'm going to go with this one. And that's going to give us a few tasks there, as you can see. But also now we have access to the exam center chunk and the Al-Kharid mine chunk, which is a scary one with adamant ore. So let's go over the tasks. Right as I was about to look over the chunk tasks, I heard a random event go off in the background. So looks like we'll be doing a mime show. We're going to get at least a collection log out of that. Alright, didn't want to make you sit through all that. I may actually get an emote, not a collection log. Let's find out. Mime boots and a mime top. Okay. Well, that's some level of Fashionscape, I suppose. Not the best looking gear, but whatever. So going back to the chunk picker, as I say, there are the giant rats down here, so I will need to get a rat meat and successfully cook that for cooked meat. I will need to get 15 mining. It says it's for the Varrock easy task, but it's also a mining skill task in general to mine the iron ore node. I will need to start a Soul's Bane, though there's not much of it to do. And I also need to kill a black bear, a goblin, and a unicorn. So let's get down there, investigate it, and get to it. Getting this chunk does also open up a little bit more of the southeast of Varrock there, but nothing really that's going to help me right now. Let's kill this rat. There we go. Rat down, and I'll pick up that meat. I'm going to need that in a moment. I will need to successfully cook it, so if I burn it, I'll have to get another one. We also have to kill a unicorn, so we'll do that while we're here. It's trying to flee, but another good hit. Any second. As long as it doesn't try to take me out of the chunk. There we go. Unicorn down. That's another task. And another good hit. There we go. Black bear down. Can mark that one off. May as well grab these. That's another meat for me as well. We can get cadaver berries here from the cadaver berry bush. They are needed for the Romeo and Juliet quest. And probably some others that don't come to mind. And there's the red berry bush here as well. If I ever need these, I have access to them now. So let's grab a couple. If we head past the fence here, we can only go so far, but we can continue up this way because we will need to kill this goblin. And hopefully it doesn't go into a different chunk. And goblin down. There is a gnome glider here in this chunk, but this is not one that we can fly from, so that won't give us any access to anything else. But there's also Tolna's Rift down here. From here we can also start the Soul's Bane quest, like that. But I'm not sure that we can really do much. So we don't have access to a rope. Once we have access to a rope, we will need to complete a Soul's Bane. Now, of course, right now my mining level is 1, which means I can mine copper and tin. I will need 15 to mine the iron ore here. And I do have a lot of copper from killing men and women, so I'll mostly be mining tin, just to sort of make that up a little bit. But there's the first of the levels, level 2. With this shirt on, it makes me look a bit like a prisoner or a convict mining away. Well, I've done one load of mining, got up to level 4, and we successfully cooked the meat. Can we do the other one? Yes. Level 3 cooking. Easy, done. That's another source of food that's only as good as the tea, so it's not any better food. But there we go. That's another chunk task down. Let's get that mining level. Level 5 mining. 10 to go. As with a lot of our equipment, we can't upgrade too far. This bronze pickaxe is the best we're going to get for now. So it's not too bad. At least we only have to get level 15 mining. If we had to get up to level 75, that's going to be a problem. My reserves of tin ore has increased enough that I'm back on copper as well. So I'll be getting 50-50 between them. And there it is, level 15 mining, which means I can now mine iron. And right here, I need to mine 1 piece of iron. Okay, and there's that done. I can mark that off and let's get a new chunk. Just quickly before the chunk map, as you can see, I have 99 copper and 99 tin, so that'll be nice for smelting into bronze bars whenever I get a furnace. Alright, so this is my current chunk map. There's a few new ones on here, so let's go through a few things real quick. First and foremost, the dig site is now accessible. I can get around through the area behind the fence now. As you can see, calculate tasks, nothing just yet. But that is an option. The exam center has a few things. I believe there are willow trees. Yeah, willow trees, which I already have the level for cutting them. I need to get fletching, fire making up to level 30 apiece and do that. Wouldn't take too long, wouldn't be too difficult. There are a few chunks. Number 1, 2, and 3 actually have yew trees in them, which means with a bronze axe I would need to get level 60 woodcutting and then get 60 fire making and 60 fletching to match it. That's going to take a long time. There will be other tasks as well, but that's not really preferred. Number 6 down here is another unfortunate one where I'd need to mine adamant ore, which is a level 70 requirement, and I'd only have my bronze pickaxe. So that's going to take a long time, especially if I want to bank all the ore that I get. But it would put me closer to Alcarid and a furnace. The best chunk for me is chunk 4 here. If I have that one, I just have to do a bit more of Romeo and Juliet. Start Gertrude's cat, kill an imp, and I got some way towards some further chunks out west a little bit. But let's see what we get. With all my tasks complete, let's roll these 2 and see where we're going to go. Okay, so I have a choice now between a 70 mining grind and a 60 woodcutting, firemaking, fletching grind. Both of them with bronze tools. Let me have a bit of a think on this. Alright, I made a decision. I'm going to go with chunk number 6 here, which is going to open up the Champions Guild chunk and a little bit further down toward Lumbridge. And as you can see, I now have a few new tasks. 60 woodcutting, 60 fletching, 60 firemaking, and 35 cooking for a jug of wine. Now, the jug of wine requirement requires the grapes in the Phoenix Gang hideout, which is a spawn. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get them. If I can't, then I'll have to backlog that until I can start the Shield of Arav quest and get access to that. So we'll investigate that, but let's have a look first through other tasks. So as you can see, we also have to kill some new things. We've got to take out both the higher and lower level dark wizards. That'll be a source of runes and some other drops for me, which would be nice. But I only have to kill one of each of them. I have to kill an imp, a mugger, a ram, a thief, and a weapon master as well. Before I go and do any killing, I do have the iron plate legs, but I've looked at the starter chaps and they are just better defensively across the board than the iron plate legs. So I will be using those both for ranged and melee. They're just, as I say, just better in general. So helps a bit against magic defense as well. In other news, we have access to cabbages here now, so we don't have to go through a long dialogue and pay 1 gold per cabbage. If we really want them, we can just pick them. We have to kill the thief, which is just here, and I'm going to get a strength level there, level 23. I'm coming for that imp in a moment as well. I've already killed imps, but I have to officially kill one now that this chunk is open. There we go. Thief killed, and an Irid leaf. Okay, where's that imp? There's a mugger here too. That's another one I have to go after. This one's not too difficult. And he's down. And I have a rope here. Now, I haven't been using monster drops as part of chunk tasks, but that means that I could now do a Soul's Bane if I wanted to. I'll have to think about that. I do now have access to the Chaos Temple here, which means I can recharge my prayer points. I haven't used any yet, but now I actually have a method to do that. That's nice. Here we go on one of the lower level Dark Wizards, the level 7s. Done. And now one of the higher level 20 wizards. Alright, that's done. Some mine runes. Let's get out of here. We can go down here a bit further now. I do quickly have to kill a ram here. That's one of the things that's required. Come on. Stop moving and die. There we go. Done. Easy. And another feature here is the Master Farmer. Now, I mentioned those briefly earlier. I can get seeds from them. So if I ever get a farming patch, this is where I'll be getting seeds to use. I'm going to go for a few and then bank them and start something else. Here we go. I found an imp. Let's kill it. That is done. Ball of wool. Okay. Now, let me take you to the chunk map. With all of those killing tasks complete, I can remove those manually. And I've made one little change. I don't believe I can get to the grape spawn. I did have a quick look. So I backlogged it. Which means that I now have a different cooking task, a slightly easier one that's accessible. Level 20 cooking to brew a nettle tea. So I'll have to do that. Basically, I believe I can only cook the raw meat from the rat and the bear. There are 2 rats in this chunk down here near the pub. So I'll be probably going after those and then using the range just nearby, near the bank here, to cook those up. I will, of course, still need to get the 60 firemaking, fletching, woodcutting. So that's going to take a little while. I will do the cooking first, and then we'll go and do our long woodcutting grinds. So just down here, there are, as I say, 2 rats, 2 big rats, giant rats that spawn in the alleyway, and I can kill them one at a time, get 1 meat out of them, and yeah, slowly get that cooking level up. It's going to take a lot of rat meat. For anyone who's watched my Wilderness UIM series, you'll know that this was a method I used for cooking, so thankfully I get to do it all over again. And coming in there, another hit points level, level 37. There'll be a few more strength and hit points levels to come. While I'm doing some cooking, I want to direct you to something on the chunk map. So at the moment, I have 4 steps that I can complete with beginner clues. And beginner clues have a chance of dropping me a black axe, which would be a major upgrade to the bronze axe that I have right now. They also have a chance of a black pickaxe, which would also be a good upgrade sometime down the line. I think that once I've done my cooking grind, I'm going to try a couple of beginner clues now that I have access to a few different steps. And, well, who knows, maybe we'll get something to help us out. There is cooking level 5, 15 levels to go. I've been pulled into another bloody mime show. What do you know? Here we go. What do we get this time? The mime gloves and the mime legs. Interesting. That's most of the set. Just need the mask now. That is level 10 cooking, 10 levels to go. Did you know that you don't stop burning raw meat until level 34? Ridiculous. Level 29 strength. And that means a new max hit of 6. Excellent. That is cooking level 15. 3/4 of the way there, at least in terms of level numbers. One more successful cook, not that one. That one, there we go, level 20 cooking. And I can now make a nettle tea. Let me just finish off these ones and then I'll go and make that. A bowl of nettle tea requires a bowl of water. And then of course the nettles that I can get out here. Just a random fun fact, so long as you're not fully healthy when you drink it, a bowl of nettle tea will also grant you some run energy back. So make sure we don't burn them all. There we go, that's one. As you can see, it'll normally give you 3 hit points and 5% run energy so long as you're not already fully healed. I did burn 2 of them, but I got 2, so that's task complete. And so now looking back at our chunk picker, as you can see, we still need to do the fire making, fletching and wood cutting. As I said earlier, I am going to try to get some clue scrolls complete, some beginner clues. Hopefully get a black axe out of that. I won't try too many. There are only 4 steps that I can complete. I can actually check here in the activity info. If I go to beginner clues and click on this possible steps here, I can do the piece of iron, the iron dagger, the leather body for Charlie, and now I can also dig in the mine here. I was holding on to a Gertrude step, but I've put that down for now so I can do this. Let's kill some men and get a couple clues. Now I'm not sure how lucky we'll be with the clue scrolls. As I say, there are only 4 steps that we can do out of, I think it was 37. So we'll kill a few men till we get one, hopefully. We won't spend too long on it if we keep getting really unlucky. Ultimately, it's supposed to be just a little thing to maybe speed up the process, but I don't want to go too long if I could just be woodcutting, really. We just got our first beginner clue, and it's... no, not one we can do. Okay. So I finally got a beginner clue that's within my area, but, well, I don't have the gold ring or the gold necklace, so I can't actually do it. Both of these items can be obtained from random events, but that requires a lot of luck on my part, so I'll be dropping that in the pile over here with the easy and beginner clues that I've already dropped. Not long after that last one, I got another clue here that's a bit of a curious one. So it requires a red cape and a chef's hat. Now, obviously, I've got my red cape on, so that's already well and done. And there is a place in Varrock that sells a chef hat. Sort of. If we come over to this clothing shop, I can trade with this guy, and there is a chef hat stock option, but unfortunately, it's always at 0. Now, I do have goblins in my chunks, and goblins do have a chance of dropping a chef hat, 1 in 42.67. But the goblins I have in my chunk have the wrong drop table, so that's not going to work. I have one final option, however, and that is the imp. With a 1 in 64 chance, the imp drops a chef hat, so it's going to be that. Should I bother? So it's time to start hunting imps, and here's my first one. As I say, it's a 1 in 64 chance, so let's hope I'm a lot luckier than I was getting a wizard's hat in the wilderness series. So I think the imp spawn is here just under Yarlow's house. Let's wait for it to pop up and find out. Okay, yes, it's this tile right here is the spawn. Let's hope it doesn't run around too much, and I'll keep trying to kill it till I get the chef hat. Is this it? No, okay. Blue wizard hat, where were you when I needed you previously? Not the hat I'm looking for. I've been keeping all the things that I get from killing the imps, and I have managed to get a full set of beads with no repeats. So that's cool. I got an Evil Bob random event, so I will be able to just leave there. That should get me to 9 fishing, I think it is. And level 7, sorry. And right after that, there's the chef's hat. Easy done. That was 84 kills total, although not all of those from this current grind. It's pretty unlikely that this will be a one-step clue, but let's give it a try. Do we get a casket? No. Do we get another step we can do? Also no. Damn. Well, with the chef's hat here now, we actually have 5 steps we can do, so that does help a little bit. If I can get 2 or even 3 clues that I can do, then, well, my chances of getting a casket are greatly improved. Okay, I got a Charlie step. Because I have this area completely now, Charlie's easy enough to get to. And what does he want? Iron ore, I can get that. I've got one in the bank, I'll go fetch it. Actually, let's not be too hasty. I'll leave it here, and if I get another one I can do, we'll try for a casket. It'll be, I think it's a 40% chance if I have 2. That was level 37 strength, which means I can now hit a max hit of 7, while on aggressive style anyway. Quick quiz random, obviously the mystery box. What do we get? Oh, a lamp. I don't have anything particularly to put it into. I guess prayer, maybe? There's level 32. And here we have level 40 hit points coming in. There we go. That's a pretty big milestone. I spent a few hours here. At this point, I haven't seen another beginner that I can do. I do have an easy that I can do, but there aren't many steps I can do, so I don't expect that's actually going to be possible, but I'll give it a few more minutes and then maybe I'll just send what I have, see what I get. And there's strength level 40 also, which means that I can go to one of the other attack styles and keep my max hit of 7. I keep getting easy clues, of course not ones that I can do, but I haven't been getting any beginners or anything like that for a long time, let alone ones that I can do. And the beginner that I had on the ground just disappeared, so it's been an hour since I've seen even a single beginner. Hooray. Well, here comes something. Prayer level 33. It doesn't mean much, but it's been another prayer level. And right after that prayer level, I got a beginner clue. It's Hans and Lumbridge. I can't do that. Once I get defense to level 30, I'll stop and try these clues. Well, here we go. Level 30 defense. And no new clue scroll. I can now wear adamant armor that I don't have access to. Let's do these 2 clues. Well, we almost certainly won't be able to do the easy clue, so let's try that one first. Search here, get another clue, and drain ore, can't do that drop. The other one is an iron ore for Charlie the Tramp. Is this a 1 step? No. Can I do the other step? No. Okay, well, that was a fun little side quest, but now I have a lot of woodcutting to train. So, because we have this one yew tree in our chunks now, we will have to cut that down, requiring 60 woodcutting. I am at level 42, which is a reasonable amount of progress on the way there. There are also now willow trees in my chunks, so I can actually go after those. I do have the fletching level 35, to be working on some willow bows. And they might go for a bit more money than what I've been used to. It's probably not going to be as quick though, so we'll see how we go with that. It's also far enough away from the bank and the store that it's probably going to be even slower if I'm selling everything. I'll give it a little bit of a try, see how we feel about it. So I did try cutting some of the willows, but because I have a bronze axe, even on the oak trees it's pretty slow, but on the willows it's very slow. It was better money, but, well, I need the woodcutting experience more than I need the money right now. Of course, I still have to get my fire making and fletching up, so I'm working on fletching at the moment. Woodcutting level 45. 15 levels to go, but it's going to be a slow 15 levels. Having a quick look at my levels, I'll at least be total level 500 by the time the grind's over. Then I can make use of the total 500 worlds. And that's level 40 fletching. We're actually doing alright with the fletching experience. We are going to have to eventually go back into fire making, which is only level 15 at the moment, but for now, one thing at a time. Let's finish off this fletching, and level 42 fletching, which if I remember correctly is willow shields. Now, while I'm not really doing willow logs because they take so long to get, but it's actually worse experience for me, I will get some willow logs and make a willow shield because it'll be a shield upgrade. Alright, I got myself the shield and a bunch of other ones that I can sell. Incoming level, any second now. There it is. That is level 50 woodcutting. Now, that's still 10 levels from level 60, our final goal, but unfortunately that's only about 37% of the way there. So, even though we've done a lot already, still a lot to go. Coming in for level 45 fletching, now I can make mithril arrows. After this inventory of bows, I'm going to do some fire making for a while. It's only level 15 right now, so I'll get that up to at least level 30. When cutting logs, it's 37 experience each, but fire making for these oak logs, it's 60. So fire making will catch up pretty quick. Well, on this inventory alone I got from level 15 to level 19, just proof of how much quicker fire making is. It occurs to me at this level that when I'm still failing to make fires 100% of the time, and I can do it for the same experience, why not just do it on bonfires? And with one more log, there is level 20 fire making. And with this log, another one, level 25 fire making. It's been a little while, but here's 51 woodcutting, 9 to go. Level 30 fire making coming in now. I can now do willow logs, which I do have access to, but probably won't be using. I'm going to keep doing fire making for a bit longer. And with the next log in the fire, that is level 35 fire making. Woodcutting level 52, just got to drop off this bird's nest in the bank. This log going in will be fire making level 40. And with that, I'm probably going to start doing some of the willow logs now. And there we go, woodcutting level 53. As you can see, I have been starting on the willow logs now. It's 90 experience per willow log when fire making, so it's pretty good. About 1.5 times the oak logs. But as you can see, chopping with this bronze axe is so slow. It's probably worth it to try another clue scroll. I'll be going back to killing men for a bit, trying to get a clue scroll. See if we can get lucky. And that's a hit points level, level 41. Alright, I got one beginner clue that I can do. That's this one here. That's for the mine outside Varrock to the east. The one that I have access to. So I will be holding on to that. Trying to get a second one that I can do. If it takes too long, I'll just do the beginner clue I've got there. We got a Charlie step, but unfortunately it was for leather chaps. Which, even though there's a ranging shop in Varrock, and also I can get studded leather chaps from Horvix, they don't sell leather chaps anywhere. I can get leather chaps from a beginner casket, but I need to get the casket first. With this set of bones, level 34 prayer. We got another Charlie step. Let's see if it's one I can do this time. Come on, Charlie, give me something good. Raw herring, damn it. Can't get that. That is level 44 strength, gone up from 40 since I started this clue grind, and I can now hit a max of an 8. Another Charlie step that I can't do, he wants a trout. I can't get a trout. And that's level 35 prayer. I decided I'm going to stop doing the clue grind now. I'm just going to complete this one and we'll see if we get anything. It's honestly a bit of a juggle because obviously I want to get a better axe that'll speed up my wood cutting significantly, but spending all this time on the clue scroll also takes a long time. Well, it wasn't a first stepper and I can't do the second step, so I guess I'm back to wood cutting. And with this final log, there it is, level 45 fire making. I can now burn maple logs, which of course I don't have access to any of those, but well, we're on our way. Also, as you can see in my stat summary, I am over 500 total level. And there's woodcutting level 54. Still 6 levels to go, so a lot of experience still. And I'm going to be nerd logged in just a few minutes. So I'll log back in and keep going. As I record, this has been 1 week since Varlamore Part 3 came out. There's a system update incoming, as you can see in the bottom left hand corner. Not sure what's coming out, but whatever it is, it probably won't affect me. Alright, I'm back from the update, and I had a quick skim through. Doesn't look like there's anything that is relevant to me and my chunks, so we're good to just keep going. I got my first bird's egg, so there's that. There's a possibility to get an evil chicken piece from that far down the line when I get to Zaya, but for now I'm just holding on to it. That is level 55 woodcutting now, and only 5 levels to go. And one more log. There we go, level 50 fire making. That is starting to catch up now with my woodcutting level. Another quick random event done, and there should be more fishing levels. Level 10, without catching even a single fish. Okay, so a quick interjection just to say that I've decided to change my mind, and I will be having the chunk tasks include diary tasks. So I've done a few already, as you can see. I've already ticked them off because these are all ones I've done. That's browse Thessalia's store, mine iron in the southeast of Varrock. Both of those you've seen me do. Buy a newspaper, I did off screen already. That's done. Give a dog a bone. I think I did that on screen, but I might not have done that on screen. Either way, that's done now too. And then the other one there is steal from the tea stall in Varrock, which obviously I've done that as well a lot of times. But this just means that going forward I will be doing the diary tasks as they come up. Another woodcutting level, level 56. And this one is 51 firemaking. Here comes another firemaking level, level 52. Alright, so something has occurred to me. At the moment, as we know, I have level 41 magic. What I'm going to do is try to get that up to 43, because that's going to give me access to superheat item. Now, while fire runes are really easy to get, I do only have a few nature runes, but I can get more of them pretty commonly from the dark wizards outside of Varrock South. With superheat item, I can actually get all of that copper and tin that I've gathered and get my smithing level up. I've got anvil access, and eventually once I get level 16 I can make an iron axe, which will be a pretty good improvement over the bronze one I've been working with. I still have many hours of wood cutting, fire making and fletching to do, so this should be good. This should be a help. I will once again be killing men here in this house, so if I get a clue scroll, I get a clue scroll. Actually, no, screw that. I'm going to kill the dark wizards now while I do this grind. Double it up. With my combat level right now, they won't auto attack me. They're not going to be aggressive. So I can just kill the lower level ones. And they have the same drop rate. Alright, I've tagged all the lower level ones. That'll make this a little easier. I could kill the higher level ones, but there's no reason. Nature runes are 1 in 18.29 drop, and I get 4 at a time. I'm going to need somewhere around 150 of them, I think. So, best get onto that. Now, as you can see, I have a blood rune here. Before anyone says anything, secondary drops like this, if it's not an always drop like bones, I will not be counting it as something that I need to use for a chunk task. So even though I can get blood runes as a source from the dark wizards, I won't have to be able to get my magic up to the point where I can use them, because they're not a primary always drop. So I had a quick look on the wiki, and apparently the iron axe is about 50% better than the bronze, so that's going to be a significant time save when I've got it. Hey, dark wizard hat! Fashionscape! Looks much better with the priest gown. Just got my first nature runes, 43 wizards in. There's the first 4, only about 146 to go. Quick Captain Arnav random, and it's the gold ring. That's unfortunate. He can also give me a gold necklace, which would be a clue scroll item. I already have gold rings from the bird's nests, so I would have had access to another clue step, but unfortunately not. Hit points level 43. There is the first of the 2 magic levels I need. I only just got a beginner clue, which was a Hans step, which is the one on the ground here, and then I got another one 2 kills later. Alright, low on hit points. Now I could, if I wanted to, gather up the bones that they drop and use bones to bananas to supplement my health, but that would be using up my hard-earned nature runes, so I'm just going to use the tea that I have in the bank. Hey, finally, it's only 157 kills in, but the black robe. That's going to be a slight +3 magic attack and defense bonus over the gown. For reference, that's a 1 in 42.67 drop, which is why it was so strange that it took that long to get it, but here we are. And that's the level 43, and now I can use a superheat item. I still need a lot more nature runes, but maybe I'll get a start on that in a minute. Now that I've hit the magic level that I want, I will be going back with ranged. Try to keep getting those levels up for ranged as well, because I usually end up sort of leaving that one to the wayside. So we'll go back with ranged. It should be pretty effective against these guys, and I shouldn't get hit that much because I've got a pretty good magic defense. Well, I got my first drop of lore runes, so I now officially have lore runes on the account. Quick grave digger random event, and I get some more collection log slots, the zombie boots and the zombie shirt. I'm up to 56 nature runes now, a little over 1/3 of what I'll need. Level 35 range there. Alright, so I did the maths quickly, and if I'm going to get to level 16 smithing from where I am at the moment, 16 of course to get the axe available, 15 for iron, 16 for the axe, I'm going to need 145 bronze smelted and then smithed into something. So 145 nature runes. At the moment I have 76. So that'll be the number I go for. So far I've received all the drops that I can from these guys, except for the cosmic runes, a 1 in 128 drop. And I've killed 388 of these fuckers. I don't particularly need the cosmic runes or anything, it's just strange that I haven't got any. It's the same drop rate as the lore runes and I've had 2 lots of those. I missed recording it, but I just got 44 hit points. Always welcome a new hit points level. I did some more math and it turns out I need to kill around 659 of these guys on average for the runes that I need. Granted, I have 2 in the bank already. Hey, cosmic runes, it only took, what, 544 kills? I don't even need them, I'm just sort of surprised it took that long to get them, that's all. We just hit level 40 ranged, and those are the last of the nature runes that I need. That was 679 total kills. Now that's enough for me to superheat all of the ore that I need, and to get to level 16 overall on the smithing grind, which will give me the axe. But I've got one more surprise first. I have 4 beginner caskets. I wanted to complete the grind for the nature runes first because I kind of want to do that smithing grind anyway, but who knows, we might get a black axe, that'd be really good. Let's find out. First one. Okay, part of the body, didn't have access to one of those before. And some mind runes. Okay, nothing really there, although that is a change of Fashionscape. I didn't have the blue top. And that is a just regular longbow, nothing special. Third one. Just some arrows. Final one. Okay, well, black plate body's interesting, but I got a mithril one. The steel battle axe is not going to be any better, and that is just another longbow, so... Okay. Good thing I kept doing the nature rune grind, huh? Now I am going to need 145 bronze bars for this grind, so I still need some copper and tin. I did previously even out the copper and tin, but then I did another men grind and got an extra 40 copper out of it. So I still need a few copper and then a lot more tin. Let's get those and I'll hop right to it. Alright, so I've got all of the nature runes. I've got all of the ores that I need. I do now have to superheat item on the copper and tin ore, but there's the first of the smithing levels, level 2. And there's level 5 smithing, well on the way. You know, it's little methods like these that make chunk locked accounts so much fun. Something that you wouldn't normally do. And with this one, that's actually a magic level coming in, level 44. Alright, so I got to level 8 smithing just from the superheat alone. I went and bought a hammer, and with these anvils in my chunk, I can start smithing. I'm going to do some knives. They're going to be useful to me in the long run, more than anything else. Level 10 smithing. 6 levels to go. While I have the opportunity, I'm going to make a bronze full helm. That is going to be my best in slot melee helm now. Level 15 smithing. Now I can smelt iron ore. 1 level and then I can do the axes. The other good thing about superheat is that you can't fail making an iron bar. So there's the iron bar I'm going to need in a minute. And we're just coming up to the last of the bronze knives that I need to make. And there we go. Level 16. I can now make iron axes, which I will be doing, of course. The goal of this grind. There we go. Iron axe. That should make my woodcutting grind about 66% of what it was before. Very good. And as you can see, I have a lot of bronze knives now. So I am now back on the woodcutting and fire making grind. And in just a moment, we're going to get another level. There we go. Fire making level 53. I got a woodcutting level coming up soon. And that is level 57 woodcutting. The iron axe is certainly a lot quicker than the bronze axe. I can feel the difference. It's still slow overall, of course, but it's definitely an improvement. Very much worth the time I spent. Saying that, especially when you consider the fact that I still need to get 45 to level 60 fletching even after my fire making grind is done. Who knows what woodcutting level I'll have by the end of that. Oh, and a bird's nest. Yoink. So I got a hard clue drop out of a tree from a nest. It is a wilderness one in the Dark Warriors Fortress level 14 wilderness. now's a good time to address the wilderness comment I made in the first episode. So I stated that I will not be unlocking wilderness chunks, as I don't like a lot of the grinds there. I think that they're too heavily botted. I don't think they're fun. And honestly, if I have that, I probably won't be putting out weekly episodes. I might even burn out overall. I feel like that's not going to happen otherwise. But that also means that I am going to be restricting myself so that I can't use anything in the wilderness either. So not only will I not be able to access the wilderness as chunk drops, I won't be able to access it in general. So this clue is just going to be one that I drop. But just to add some further information on that wilderness issue, that means no bones on the altar. That means no Varrock Enclave, nothing like that. One thing that I looked into with my chunk map is the potential for some other chunks that I might be able to access. So over here in the Champions Guild area, there is a canoe station that I can use to canoe my way up and down the River Lum, which would give me a few extra spots, and I would be allowing access like that, as I would with Varlamore with the Quetzal as well. But it's only going to be one way, and that's a problem. The canoe station near the Champions Guild, while I can access it to make a canoe, if I were to canoe back, it would actually put me one step into this chunk here, number 7. So until I can get back from a chunk that I can access in that manner, I won't be allowing that sort of thing. But if I do get chunk number 7, I will be able to unlock the rest of the canoe stations. Just something I've been thinking about. And another clip for biome making level 54. Level 58 woodcutting there. And a fire making level coming in as well, level 55. Fire making level 56. That is level 59 woodcutting. One more until I get to the goal. Fire making level 57. And that is 58 fire making now. 2 levels to go. Then I can go back to my fletching. And that's the final log. That is 60 woodcutting. Finally, we have hit the goal. First of the 3. And I can now chop yew trees. Hooray! There we go, and that's another Gravedigger random event complete. Let's see what I get this time. It's going to be the gloves and the trousers, so I think that's the full set except for the head. That is 59 fire making, one more level of that, and then back to fletching. Still going to be a fair bit of woodcutting to go. We're nearly there with fire making, but there's an extra woodcutting level, level 61. Right, these logs in my inventory should be exactly enough, and with this final one, we've finally done it. Level 60 fire making. I can now burn yew logs. Now I haven't marked either of those off on the chunk picker app just yet because I do actually need to still chop that yew log and burn that yew log. Just having the level isn't enough. Since I'm exactly level 60 and I'm only using an iron axe, this could take a little while, but I only need one right now, so let's wait for that. Oh, there it is, never mind, not too long. And if I burn that, done. 202 XP per burn. Wow, okay. I can now officially tick off 60 fire making and 60 wood cutting, which leaves only the one to go, 60 fletching. So I'm going now to the bank to swap out my tinderbox for a knife. I will keep going with willows, though I'm going to do willows in a different area. The reason for this is that they're a bit closer to the bank, and I will be selling the willow bows that I make. The area where I was cutting willows previously had a better area for fire making, so that's the reason it went like that. Alright, so just south of the gate here, there is a willow tree there, there's another one there. That is closer to the general store for selling than the other one is all the way around here in the paddock. So I'll be chopping here for the meantime. I've got my entire cash stack on me at the moment. We'll see as that increases, and hopefully I get some pretty quick fletching levels. This is the only thing left to do. I am level 61 woodcutting right now, so I'll be interested to see what I get up to at the end of this grind. So while I'm stuck training fletching, let's talk quickly about a Soul's Bane. So I do have access to Tolna's Rift, at least on the surface, and I do have a rope now because I got one off of a mugger. Typically a chunk task won't be given to me unless I have a primary source of getting an item, which is either from a shop or from a spawn, or being able to make it. Now, in this case, I was able to get a rope as a drop. It's not an always drop, so it doesn't drop every single time I kill a mugger, which means that it's not counted towards accessible items. What that does mean, however, is that since I do have a rope, I could finish the quest. As I say, it's not a required quest, and though I would like to do it, there's a pretty good chance of getting poisoned during the quest. Currently, I don't have access to anti-poison, I don't have access to the apothecary, nor do I have the access to the limp words that he'd need to make that. I can't get an anti-poison from a Dr. Jekyll random, because I'd need a clean Marintil for that, and I only have grimy ones. The only thing I have is the strange plant, which offers a strange fruit, which can cure poison, though it doesn't offer any anti-poison time. At the moment, I only have one of those strange fruit. If I had 2 or 3, I'd feel more confident to do the quest. At the moment, though I don't have to do it, I probably won't. I might give it a try at the end of this grind. It depends if I get any more strange fruit. So that's just where I'm up to on that. As I say, I don't have to do it. Physically, I can do it. Chances are I would die during it, but we'll see how it goes, and I might try it out later. We're at 47 fletching right now, but there's our first new woodcutting level, 62. Excellent, I just got the gold necklace from a Captain Arnav random event, which means that I now have another beginner clue that I have access to. So fletching's been about 10k an hour with the willows. I'm going to try out oaks for a bit, see if it's any quicker. Okay, so I've done a few loads at this point, and it looks like it's going to be around 20 to 30% better fletching doing it on oaks here instead. It's also better woodcutting experience because it is just generally quicker. It's going to be a lot worse money, so I'm not even going to bother popping worlds for the general store anymore. I'm just going to fletch until I'm done. Really, it's going to be a long grind anyway, so save time where I can. Freaky Forester wanted me to kill one of his pheasants. What do we get from that? Later, hose and shorts. Yeah, sure, looks fine. I just passed the 100,000 experience mark for fletching. Only about 170,000 to go. Here we go, fletching level 50. I can now make maple shortbows with the maple logs that I can't get. Hooray. Woodcutting 63. They keep going up pretty quick. Just for reference, I did the math and it looks like it's going to be about a 14-15 hour grind for those last 10 fletching levels, so that's fun. When I sell the longbows to the store, I get 8 coins a piece because there's such a big stock in there, so I get 208 coins for every inventory. With this inventory sold, I now have over 50k. 51 fletching coming in, there it is. 9 to go. This is so slow and boring that I'm thinking I might try to get some... Oh, hang on. Hello there. Just a gold ring from that one. Anyway, as I was going to say, I'm going to go back to the Dark Wizards, get some more runes out of it, and hopefully get some more clue attempts. I'd really like a black axe. It would be a significant upgrade. It would make this so much faster, and I'm just so bored. So, should go on rapid for these. I'll use up my bronze knives while I'm here. They're not great damage, but they're fast. 2 kills in and I got a beginner clue, but I can't do that one. Well, this is about to be something with this set of bones. That's another prayer level, level 36. For anyone wondering, the rate of a beginner clue scroll here is 1 in 50. It's 1 in 35 from the higher level ones, but they're a lot more difficult to kill. And the rest of their loot is basically the same. So, hit points level, and that's level 45. We got our second lot of cosmic rune drops in 766 kills. These Reldo steps are the worst. Reldo's so close, but also I know that even if I had access to him, all the locations are pretty much out of reach anyway. I've changed up my outfit a little bit. I've now got all the gear that I can use to get clue scrolls done. So I've changed the cape to the red cape. I got the chef's hat over the med helm because it wasn't really providing anything. And I've got the gold ring and the gold necklace, so I am clue ready. I also got my spade. We have a super important random event right now. Let's touch this frog. And we're going to get the frog token. Finally. Frog mask. Thank you. Ribbit. And that is 46 hit points coming in there. And another level up incoming. Level 45 ranged. Now I can hit a 6 with these knives. And I still have some because I keep picking them up. With that kill and these bones, that's another prayer level. Level 37. And protect from magic. The first of the protection prayers. Alright, Charlie, is this going to be a one-stepper? It is! And no, okay. I still have some clues I can do. Okay, so we did manage to get 2 beginner caskets. I might have got some more, but Charlie the Tramp keeps asking for fish that I don't have access to. So here we go. First one. Excellent. And the other one. Okay. Well, that's it for that. Well, there's two things actually here now that I think about it. The leather chaps, while they're not really going to be best in slot or anything, that is something that Charlie can ask for that I didn't have access to before. So I at least get one freebie there. And the black kite shield is probably actually my best in slot shield now. So you know what? I'll take it. I have now killed around 1400 of the dark wizards. So I've given up on that plan. It was a nice distraction, but I am back to the fletching grind. Too bad I didn't get the black axe. But it's not like it was a complete waste of time. I did get 46 ranged. I did get my hit points up to 46 as well. And of course prayer to 37. So not too bad. That's level 52 fletching. That is level 64 woodcutting now. There's my next fletching level, level 53. I am still only about halfway to the 60 goals, so that's just great. I got a beginner clue that I can do while cutting trees. Let's see if it's a one-stepper. It is not. Is it a back-to-back? Okay, maybe. Okay, Charlie wants a piece of iron ore. I can do that. Here we go. We're going to get a casket. No. And I can't do that. That is 54 fletching. Still 6 levels. Got another beginner clue that I can do. Is it a one-stepper? No. And a Roldo step. Never mind. In other news, there's 65 woodcutting. Fletching level number 55. Finally. I can now make maple longbows when I have maple trees. That's 56 fletching down now. That is 57 fletching. I can see the light again on the horizon now. I've been wearing my zombie gear to show how I feel inside, but right now, there's level 58 fletching. 2 to go. And here we go. That's another fletching level, level 59. I'm very close now. I can now make myth grapples, and as you can see, my cash stack is now over 100k. I still have around 600 more bows to make after this inventory is done, and I'm getting pretty close to another woodcutting level. I've missed a few of them, and there's a reason for that, and I'll show you why in just a moment. A nice woodcutting level, 69. I still have just under 500 more bows to make. These 17 logs that I'm about to fletch are the final ones in this very, very long grind. It's taken me several days worth of long hours, unfortunately with only an iron axe. Woodcutting is pretty slow, and fletching is a relatively quick skill when you can buy all the logs, but when you've got to get all of them yourself, it does take quite a long time. So from the low levels all the way up to level 60, here we go. Level 60 fletching, and final task we need to do, fletch these yew logs into arrow shafts. Done. So as you can see, I've made a decent amount of cash selling all those. I would have made a lot more if I hopped worlds, but this was already a really long grind as it is, and I didn't want to make that even longer with all the world hopping. So let's get our chunk picker up. Alright, here it is. Let's mark off fletching, and with all of our tasks complete, we get to pick a new one. Just to quickly go over things. Number 4 and 5 here on the dig site are pretty much going to be nothing. There's a few steps I can do for the dig site quest depending on what I get. Other than that, I can't finish the quest, so that's not too much. Number 6 is the chunk that I do not want. That is the one that will be the worst, because I need to mine adamant ore and I've only got access to a bronze pickaxe. Naturally, because as soon as I get a furnace, I would then need to smelt adamant ore. I would want to be holding on to all the ore that I get, and the closest bank is back in my home chunk in Varrock, so that's going to be a bit of a journey for each inventory, and I really don't want to do that grind. 8 would be good, closer to Lumbridge, and there's nothing really much to do there. Same for 7, I think there's a silver grind. 3 would be pretty good, eventually could get into the Cook's Guild. Start Gertrude's cat, that sort of thing. Number 1, the palace chunk. That was originally going to be a similar grind to what I just did, but now that I've done that, I think it's a relatively free chunk. It would give me access to the Varrock sewers, which means eventually I'll need to kill Bryophyta and I'll need to kill Scarius, but that doesn't happen until I have access to certain things. Each boss will sort of have its own checklist before I consider them viable to go after. For Bryophyta, I would need access to anti-poisons at the minimum. For Scarius and Bryophyta, most bosses, in fact, I'm locking myself away from them until either I think I can do it regardless, or until I have prayer potions. And then finally, number 2, there'd be a couple of achievements I could do, I believe, there for the Varrock Easy Diary, but I couldn't do Daddy's Home until I get number 1, and there wouldn't be much else to do there. So let's find out what we get. Anything but number 6. Okay, as you can see, it's been 6 days since my last roll. You can also see the date in the bottom right corner for when I made those last rolls. Obviously, this series has started on my end a fair while before it comes out on your end. That's because if it's going to take a week or so to do a chunk task, at least that gives me a bit of a buffer before it needs to come out. So if I ever get any more long grinds, I can still do the weekly videos. But let's press the roll 2, find out what we get. And they're spinning. We're going to get... Okay. Alright, those are both relatively good ones. So chunk 7 and 8. So I've got the silver grind here. There's not much more to it, I don't believe. Killer Duck, mine silver ore. Eventually, that's the Champions Guild. I can't access it yet because I need 32 quest points. So I can't get access to the rune stuff in there yet. There is a section of the chunk that I couldn't access. Anything south of the river, west of the river, I can't access. I can't do the agility shortcut there because I don't have access to a method of training agility. Chunk number 8, I will probably go with this one. I think I need to churn a pot of cream, which is only level 21 cooking. So 1 cooking level to get there. Gives me access to a few new creatures, chickens, cows, and gets me closer to Lumbridge. I think I'm going to go with that one, the Groats Farm. It'll then eventually give me access toward the sort of Draenor area, the Lumbridge area. I don't particularly want to go further toward the Alcarid area and that one mine, so that's not the best there, but I think this would be the choice, so let's go with that. Okay, and as you can see here, I don't have access to the full chunk. It has not unlocked this chunk here, the Lumbridge Mill, because I would not have a way of walking down into it. I can't cross this bridge down in the Lumbridge chunk to get on the other side of the chunk there, so I'm stuck to the eastern part, but we've got a few chunk tasks. I'm going to get those knocked out real quick, and then that'll be the end of the episode today. Right now we only need 154 experience to get another cooking level, level 21, which is the one that we need. So that's only 6 pieces of rat meat that we need to successfully cook. I can still burn them because I'm only level 20 and you need level 34, I think it was, to stop burning them. So I'll get a few here, cook those up, get that level and churn that cream. And then I'll go kill those things I need to kill in the chunk as well. Alright, this ought to be enough meat, as long as I don't burn too many of them. One more. Nope, not that one. Hey, there we go. Level 21 cooking. And I'll just cook up these last 2 as well, why not? Just as I make my way there, for anyone wondering, I did not get to level 70 woodcutting. I'm about halfway to 70 with that grind, and I really hope I don't have to do a magic tree grind anytime soon, because that level 60 grind sucked. Alright, here we are at the border. Let's open this up. And I've got to be careful here. Just walk around it. And I need to attack this farmer. That's one of my chunk tasks. There we go. Farmer down. Mark that off. Another thing I have to kill is the chicken, so let's get one of those down real quick. This will be a good source of feathers now, and also raw chicken's not bad. I do also now have access to a whole field of potatoes, so that'll be good food as well. I don't know that it's any better than what I've already got. Potatoes might be a 4 healing, I'll check that in a moment. Okay, yeah, so a baked potato will actually heal 4, so that is now my best healing, actually. I also have access now to eggs outside of just the imp drops, so I'll collect a few of those, why not? I do need to kill both a cow and a calf, so let's get both of those. Cow down and calf down. Need to get some milk from this cow for the butter. or the cream actually. I don't even have to make the butter. For those who are unaware of how chunk tasks work particularly, as I've sort of mentioned before, you only have to process things to their lowest level. So a bucket of milk can be processed into something else. In this case it'll be cream. It can also be turned into butter, but as it's only the lowest level requirement, I only have to make the cream here. I don't have to make butter, I don't have to make cheese. So let's make that. This process takes a second and you're going to sit through it if I have to sit through it. There we go. 1 pot of cream. Final thing I need to do is kill a duck, so I've got my bronze knives. I've only got 19 left. Out of the bank, and I'm just going to cook these potatoes while I have the chance. Alright, come here, you little thing. And duck down. Done. And with that, it's been quite a long episode today, thanks to all that fletching and woodcutting and fire making. I will roll a new chunk in just a moment, and I'll start that at the start of next episode. For now, we're up to 3 days and 16 hours of total time played, and a total level of 597. My combat level is 47, nearly 48. Let's see where we'll be heading next time. Alright, so the only chunk that's new on the board is the Lumbridge one. If I get that one, I'll have access to a few quest starts. I'll have access to a furnace, maybe a few other things. Let's have a look at some of the possible tasks. Cook fried onions, okay, I'd have to do that. Craft a ball of wool, so I'd have access to some crafting experience. That'll be a nice start. I can start Restless Ghost. I can do Cook's Assistant because I have all the ingredients for it. I can start X marks the spot, and there's a few other little things. Everything else, however, is the same. Let's zoom out and see what we're going to get. Alright, it's going to be the River Lum. And yeah, definitely not going to be that one. Okay, well, I'm not choosing the Alkarid mine, so it's going to be the River Lum. I'll have one thing to do, which is going to be to mine silver ore. That doesn't open any new chunks for me, and I'll get on that grind first thing next time. I hope to see you then.